She silently coached herself to remain cool, stealing a glance at her husband. "Just a little while longer, then this will all be behind us," she murmured, emphasizing the need for calm. The judge's words, praising their parenting abilities, brought a swell of confidence within her. She felt certain they were on the brink of victory, confident that the boy they cared for would continue to be a part of their lives. However, her optimism faltered as the boy unexpectedly stood and spoke up, introducing an unforeseen twist to the proceedings. This wasn't the outcome they had imagined. Despite thorough preparations, she hadn't anticipated the unexpected challenge posed by the presence of two women in the courtroom, both determined to strip them of custody of their son. These two individuals, who happened to live nearby for a couple of years, suddenly felt entitled to insert themselves into a private family matter, asserting their opinions as if they held authority over the situation. Mitch and Michael Grady, a well-off couple, felt a deep-seated desire to extend their blessings to those in need. After much thought, they decided that foster care would be their chosen avenue for helping. From an outsider's perspective, their endeavor appeared to be progressing smoothly. However, unbeknownst to everyone around them, the Gradys were embroiled in a stormy ordeal that began with a routine visit to the doctor's office. Little did they know of the profound impact that single day would have on their lives. In their quest to conceive, the couple made the difficult decision to seek the expertise of a fertility specialist. Following a thorough examination and numerous tests, the doctor delivered a devastating blow. Michael was diagnosed as unable to father children. As if that wasn't heart-wrenching enough, additional tests unveiled yet another layer of hardship for the couple to bear. Mitch was informed of complications with her womb that rendered her incapable of carrying a child to term. The weight of this dual diagnosis left the couple grappling with profound sorrow and a sense of profound loss. After delivering the devastating news of their infertility, the doctor compassionately broached the subject of alternative paths to parenthood. Among these options, adoption emerged as a hopeful prospect, a glimmer of light in their otherwise bleak situation. Encouraged by the possibility of expanding their family through adoption, Mitch and Michael looked for avenues to connect with a child in need of a loving home. Yet, as they delved deeper into the adoption process, unforeseen challenges arose, prompting them to reassess their initial decision. Their trajectory took an unexpected turn when they decided to search for a foster home beyond Jacksonville. Upon meeting the foster children, Mitch and Michael found themselves contemplating an alternative route, fostering rather than targeting. Motivated by pure intentions and a genuine desire to make a difference, the couple wholeheartedly welcomed numerous children into their home, providing a safe haven for those in need of love and stability. However, they found themselves unprepared when things took a dark turn. The neighbors of the Gradys witnessed cheerful, lively children coming in and out of Michael and Mitch's house, unaware of any problems lurking beneath the surface. Everything seemed normal from afar. However, when Eliza and her wife Dana arrived, things took a different turn. Eliza, who worked from home, overheard something one day that made her worried. Initially, Eliza and Dana believed that having a conversation with Mitch about what they had observed would be enough to address the concerns. They never thought they'd end up in court over it. Their son Calvin was friends with one of the foster children living with the Grady family. Eliza and Dana grew more concerned when Calvin shared something about the Grady household that they were unaware of. Upon learning from Calvin about Michael and Mitch Grady's intention to adopt Sean, a 13-year-old foster child, Eliza's concern deepened considerably. Reflecting on what she had observed, Eliza felt compelled to intervene and halt any potential harm that might befall Sean. Aware of the gravity of the situation, Eliza resolved to address the matter head-on. Driven by a steadfast commitment to safeguarding the well-being of vulnerable children like Sean over the 2 years they had been neighbors with the Shanatov, Sean had proven himself to be an amiable and considerate young boy. Eliza and Dana had developed a strong fondness for him. Meanwhile, Sean's positive influence on Calvin, their son, did not go unnoticed by Eliza and Dana. They observed how he encouraged Calvin to apply himself diligently in school, fostering a supportive friendship between the two boys. Initially, Mitch was a delight to be around. Her sense of humor reminded them of the endearing qualities they had observed in their foster son. Likewise, Michael's company was equally delightful, as he regaled them with tales from his time in the army. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect exterior lurked a hidden reality of disarray and neglect, a truth that Eliza and Dana would soon come uncover. Seated on the opposite side of the courtroom, the couple anxiously awaited the proceedings of the hearing. Their presence was driven by a desire to voice their opposition, hoping that the judge would lend an ear. For over 2 months, they had faithfully attended every hearing related to Sean's case. They harbored deep-seated reservations about Sean's welfare, aware of the challenges he faced behind closed doors when no one else was watching. However, a lingering sense of doubt gnawed at them. Would their testimony hold any weight in the eyes of the court? Eliza found herself repeatedly questioned by the defense about the evidence supporting her assertions. The judge, too, frequently turned his gaze towards her, inquiring whether she could substantiate her statements. The gravity of her accusations was not lost on anyone present. They were not only startling but also carried the potential for the Gratis to take legal action against her for defamation. In the face of such scrutiny, Eliza couldn't help but question her resolve. Was she truly prepared to navigate this path and stand by her claims? Eliza found herself grappling with a sense of helplessness, wishing she had taken proactive measures to document what she had witnessed. Sean's placement in foster care had served as his final safeguard, offering him a glimmer of hope that one day he would be free from the clutches of the Gratis. However, with Mitch and Michael now seeking to adopt him, Sean's fate seemed irrevocably intertwined with theirs. Eliza couldn't shake the feeling that things were spiraling out of control, realizing that the outcome of this situation might not be as she hoped. As the final hearing before the court's ultimate decision on the adoption approached, the judge once again summoned Eliza to speak. Casting a brief glance at Sean, who sat somberly alongside Mitch and Michael, Eliza made her way to the witness stand. Taking a moment to compose herself, she cleared her throat, silently hoping that her testimony, despite its repetition from previous hearings, would carry enough weight to influence the court's verdict. "I firmly believe that Mitch and Michael shouldn't be granted permission by the court to adopt Sean," she declared, summoning her inner strength and determination to speak her truth. "It's simply unjust, Your Honor. Those individuals are not fit to be parents. They pose a danger to any child in their care and must be held accountable for their actions under the law." However, she knew her time to speak would be brief. Maybe when they first began their path as foster parents, they had the best of intentions, Eliza reflected. "I'm not entirely certain. I'd like to believe they did, but somewhere along the way, something changed, and they became the people they are now." Tears welled in her eyes as she spoke further. The thought of what could have led Mitch to commit such a reprehensible act was beyond Eliza's comprehension. "I would sacrifice everything to protect my own son," she asserted, exchanging a meaningful glance with Dana as Eliza continued to voice her concerns. She found it increasingly challenging to maintain her composure, especially when she noticed the Gratis giggling in their seats. Dana intervened, leading Eliza away with the judge's approval, recognizing the futility of their efforts to sway the court's decision. It was evident to Eliza that victory in this battle was beyond reach. Initially, Dana was skeptical about Eliza's claims. "I find it hard to believe Mitch would engage in such behavior," she said. However, Dana knew Eliza to be a person of integrity, seldom prone to dishonesty. Yet one Friday evening, Dana's doubts were shaken when she heard a commotion emanating from the Grady residence. Fortunately, their bedroom was situated at a higher vantage point, affording Dana an unobstructed view of the events in the Grady household. At that moment, Dana's eyes were open to the reality of the situation. Eliza's words had been true. It became increasingly evident to Dana that Sean's well-being hinged on his swift removal from the Grady household. Despite sensing the glimmer of hope reflected in Eliza and Dana's eyes, Sean grappled with the harsh reality that his chances of breaking free from the Grady's clutches were slim without indisputable evidence to support his claims. During the hearings, Mitch and Michael had repeatedly instructed and manipulated Sean. They threatened to isolate him from his friends if he chose to divulge the truth about the unsettling events unfolding within their home. Being just a child, Sean succumbed to their intimidation tactics, choosing to remain silent for fear of the consequences. However, there came a point when Sean could no longer suppress the truth, no matter how hard he tried. As the judge geared up to announce the ultimate decision, Sean felt a surge of determination coursing through him. The mere idea of continuing to reside with Mitch and Michael filled him with an overwhelming sense of dread. He knew he couldn't remain silent any longer. He had to break his silence. Despite the looming uncertainties of potential repercussions, Sean made up his mind to speak his truth. As the judge stood on the brink of announcing the completion of the adoption process, Sean found himself unable to suppress his emotions any longer. Despite his trembling voice, he found the courage to speak up, addressing the judge directly. "Your Honor, there's something I need to say." Everyone in the courtroom fell silent, every gaze fixed intently upon Sean, who now stood, visibly shaken by fear. In that tense moment, Sean locked eyes with Eliza and Dana, who hoped he would finally unveil the truth. Sean drew in a long breath before finding the courage to proceed. "Mitch and Michael aren't the people everyone thinks they are. They warned me to keep quiet, but I can't stand by and let them continue this any longer, hurting me or anyone else." The judge's demeanor shifted from assuredness to concern. With a blend of empathy and resolve, he directed his gaze toward Sean, gently prompting him to elaborate further. "Could you share more about your experiences, Sean?" Tears cascaded down Sean's cheeks as he bravely recounted the harrowing experiences he had endured under the care of Mitch and Michael. He painted a vivid picture of the relentless torment, the pervasive neglect, and the ever-present threats that had compelled him to suffer in silence for so long. His testimony filled the courtroom with tension. Mitch and Michael, once confident in their deceitful facade, now stood frozen as they listened to Sean's revelations. They were blindsided by his unexpected courage, forced to confront the consequences of their actions laid bare for everyone to see. As Eliza and Dana listened intently to Sean's testimony, their hearts were filled with sorrow for the young boy they had come to hold dear. Despite the potential strain it might place on their relationship with the Grady family, they remained steadfast in their belief that bringing Sean's plight to light was the right thing to do. The judge, moved by the gravity of Sean's words, decided to suspend the adoption proceedings without hesitation. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, he immediately issued orders for a comprehensive investigation into the allegations raised by Sean. In the ensuing weeks, a dedicated team comprising social workers, therapists, and investigators collaborated tirelessly to compile evidence and conduct interviews. Their efforts extended to interviewing other children who had previously resided under the care of the Gratis. As their investigations unfolded, a chilling narrative of manipulation and terror gradually came to light. Mitch and Michael, once regarded as pillars of the community, now faced the full weight of justice as they were apprehended and charged with numerous offenses. As the case proceeded to trial, additional evidence came to light, further substantiating the validity of Sean's testimony. Sean then found himself enveloped in a compassionate network of individuals who deeply cared for his well-being. Following the legal proceedings, Mitch and Michael Grady were deemed guilty of their crimes and handed down significant prison sentences. With the perpetrators held accountable for their actions, Sean could finally bid farewell to the nightmare that had plagued him for so long. Eliza and Dana were celebrated as champions for their bravery in advocating for justice. Their unwavering resolve not only rescued Sean from harm but also shed light on systemic shortcomings that cried out for reform. The judge, who had once commended the Gratis for their purported intentions, underwent a profound shift in perspective. He came to acknowledge the critical importance of implementing rigorous screening procedures for prospective foster parents. In Sean's newfound family, he found the affection, nurturing, and sense of security that had eluded him for so long. Flourishing in his fresh surroundings, he forged meaningful connections, fostered friendships, and demonstrated remarkable academic progress. As time passed, the wounds of his past gradually faded, replaced by a newfound sense of hope and optimism for the days ahead. His journey served as a testament to the indispensable roles of vigilance and activism in safeguarding the well-being of the vulnerable.